What's going on, everybody? I wanted to make this video today about my self-improvement journey. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because for the last 3 years on this channel, I've been talking so much about finance, real estate, the IUL, infinite banking, and I've come across thousands of people who have wanted to invest with us, who have wanted to place money into an IUL to earn a high yield of interest, tax-free with zero market risk. But so many people are stuck because they're paycheck to paycheck, or they have too many bills that just pop up out of nowhere, and they can never get into a position to where they can begin to start investing in real estate, where they can begin to start putting money away to really take care of their future selves. That's the whole entire reason as to why people invest, is because they want that money to sit and grow so that at a later point in time, they can reap the fruits of that labor, per se. But it all starts with the self. If you are not putting yourself in a better position, if you're not growing as an individual, and if your active income is not at a place to where you can start taking that active income and placing it into assets to earn passive income, then you will never earn passive income, right? You'll never be able to invest in real estate if your active income is not where it needs to be. You'll never be able to fund an enhanced asset like the IUL if your active income is not where it needs to be. Well, a lot of people are content with where they're at, or they don't think that there's a way out of the situation and that they're in. And that is just false. That is a false perspective of reality. You control your life. And it all begins right here, in the mind, your mindset. And so I want to quickly walk you through my journey so that you can begin to realize that every millionaire, every billionaire started at where you're at right now. And if your mind instantly goes to, well, you know, millionaires and billionaires were spoon-fed on a silver platter or whatever it may be, you must understand that even if somebody did grow up with a rich family, that family was not always rich. There was one person in the family that made certain decisions and changed their mindset and really started to grow as an individual, and that's how they became wealthy. And they created generational wealth. They built the trusts. They created the holding companies. They built the companies. They allocated those funds into income-producing assets so that not only were they financially free, but the rest of their family and the rest of their family lineage would be wealthy for the rest of time. And another fun fact is that about 75 to 80% of millionaires are self-made. There's only a small little sliver of individuals who are very wealthy that came from family money. So you have no excuse. And I didn't have an excuse. Kind of jumping into my story, both of my parents come from lower middle class families. My mom moved to the United States when she was 19 from Mexico. My dad's family also came from Mexico. My grandparents on my dad's side moved to Texas. That's where they met. And then they somehow ended up moving to the Chicagoland area. And my parents met in the Chicagoland area. And then, you know, obviously now I'm sitting here making this video talking to you guys right now. My mom came from a very poor single family, or her mom, her dad, my grandpa on my mom's side left them for another woman. And my mom grew up with a single mother in Mexico, and she wanted a better life for herself. So she moved to the United States. My dad's family, they are still together, and they're lower middle class. And here's the thing, is that I make multiple 5 figures a month every single month. I have made close to $1 million, not quite there yet. And I'm 23, and I come from a lower middle class family. My parents divorced when I was in the 8th grade, and now I'm splitting my time between 2 parents, both single parents with single household incomes, and we were already lower middle class when they were together, and when they got divorced, things got a lot worse in the sense of way less money, the same amount of bills, all those things. If you come from a divorced family, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, the thing is I looked at the world and I knew that I had to make one of two decisions. Either I could have a pity party for myself and take life in the form of like a victim mentality, or I could take things into my own hands. And that is when I really started to go out of my way to start making my own money on my own, because I could not rely on mom or dad to give me money for shoes or to go out and hang out with my friends or to go take a girl on a date or really whatever it may be. So because of that, I learned at a very young age that if I wanted things, I needed money. Well, if I needed money, then I needed to go out and do things to make money. I would knock on doors. I would ask people if I could literally pick up sticks in their yard, rake their leaves, clean their gutters, mow their grass, help them move, help them clean out their garage, like just the most random things. And that's what I would do all through late middle school and into high school. And then in high school, I started a car detailing business. And I ended up scaling that all the way to a legitimate car detailing company, to the point where I had my own shop and I was doing multiple cars a week. And then I moved to California at 18 years old, all by myself, simply due to the fact that I wanted to. I just wanted to move to California. I just thought that it looked cool in the movies. And I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. So all through high school, I simply just stacked as much cash as I could for my car detailing business. And I stacked enough cash, graduated high school. The next month, I picked up and just moved to California, right? And this is where the personal development story really begins. COVID happened about a year into me living in LA. I was going to college, dropped out of college. It was not for me. I was going to college for business. And I realized that I'm sitting here paying thousands of dollars a semester. It was about $7,000 per semester. To get business education from professors who don't run businesses. And once I realized that, I dropped out. I was just not going to do it anymore. And I realized that I need to find something that I can do to learn business, and I'll learn business just by running businesses. And this is where the personal development really started. I was forced to work as a welder because, again, COVID hit, everything was closed. So all the other jobs that I was working in California were no longer jobs. I was a server at a restaurant. All the restaurants closed, and we're in lockdown. Well, in high school, I took a welding class, and I just thought, why not call some steel shops and see if they're still working, when they all were. And so I became a welder, and I was a welder for like 6 or 7 months, and it was horrible. I hated it. The hours were super long. I worked like 12.5-hour days. It was a very dirty job. I would always get hurt, just simply due to, like, you know, you're literally melting metal, you're slamming metal everywhere, blades shatter and they blow up in your face, around your fingers, and I would always be coughing up black dust and black soot. I'd blow my nose, there'd be a bunch of black dust and black soot and stuff like that. And because I hated it so much, I realized that I needed to do something about this. So I would constantly be reading books. I would constantly be listening to audiobooks while working, listening to podcasts, and just listening to what the wealthy people that I was watching were doing. I'd listen to a lot of Ed Mylett. I listened to a lot of Gary Vee, many very successful entrepreneurs. And as I was expanding my mindset on personal development, I didn't even know personal development was really a thing. I really started working on myself, and I really started opening my mind to the fact that just like when I was a kid, and if I wanted shoes, or if I wanted, to go out and hang out with my friends, go to movies, go bowling, or whatever it may be, I needed to take control of my life, go out and actively make money so I could go do those things. Well, if I wanted to become the person that I would need to become to achieve the goals that I wanted to hit, I would have to do work on myself. And that's really where everything begins. You start working on yourself. You start gaining specialized knowledge on whatever it is that you want to do. And then at that point, with a business, you take that specialized knowledge and you start helping people who are having those same issues. You are quite literally just a problem solver. That's all you are. So to become a very good problem solver, you have to start solving all of the problems in your life. And the only way to really solve these problems is by gaining specialized knowledge and then executing the knowledge, using the knowledge that you've gained to alleviate and to find the solution for that problem through knowledge and action. And so that's why I'm making this video. Most of my videos are about finance, right? Because most of the people that I help are people who are high net worth, make a lot of money. However, they still are trading their time for money. And so they want to buy back their time. So how do they buy back their time? They start having their money work for them instead of them working for their money. And really the only way to do that is to place your money into income producing assets so that then those income producing assets can start paying you every single month or every single quarter so that you no longer have to clock in and go into work to trade your time for money to go pay the bills. But before you can get there, you have to start working on yourself through personal development, through knowledge, through health, fitness, mindset, all of those things. And so I am going to start talking about a lot of those things on this channel moving forward because that is a major pillar in terms of the route in which you want to take to go ahead and execute on those goals and or dreams that you have. And that is a huge reason as to why I have created the Enhanced Wealth community. The Enhanced Wealth as a business model has always been helping you enhance your wealth through helping you place your money into financial vehicles that will allow you, again, to have your money work for you instead of you having to work for money. Well, now I'm realizing that the Enhanced Wealth business and the Enhanced Wealth community can do so much more than only that. You can enhance your wealth through personal development, through discipline and productivity and health and fitness, right? Because without health, there is no wealth. And wealth really breaks into many different pillars. Building relationships with people, building a very good relationship with yourself, being healthy, and finance. So we've only really tackled finance, but we really need to also start talking about with you guys is the fact that everyone starts somewhere. And normally that starting point is expanding and just changing the way that you view life, changing the lens in which you view life. And that is by mindset and changing your own perception of yourself, which is normally like your identity. To become a millionaire, you must do things that millionaires do. You have to change your identity. A super easy example is instead of going out to the bars every single weekend, like a 99%er would do, you must start doing what the 1% are doing by changing your identity now. And that's through personal development. And so that is the first pillar or the first step to your journey to financial freedom. You can't just get to financial freedom by doing the same exact things that you're doing currently. Why do you even think that that would work? Think about it. If you're not happy with your active income, if you're not happy with the amount of money that you make right now from what you're doing, for where you go to go clock in, and you're trading your most valuable asset, your time, for cash, and then all that cash just funnels directly into bills. And at the end of the month, you look around, you're like, where did all my money go? And you're just stuck in this cycle. And that's a really sad place to be. And if you're watching this video right now, then you probably don't want to be in that position anymore. And so going back to my personal development story, I was so fed up, as probably so many of you are right now. I was fed up with my hours. I was fed up with the job. I was fed up just with where I was in life at that time. And so my escape was building myself, building my skills. Talking about the education system in the United States, they don't teach you monetizable skills. That is very important. You must learn monetizable skills. And so what falls into that is something that I learned from Dan Co., which is the one-person business. Every single person has gone through problems. Every single person has, most people have found the solutions to those problems. And there's people who are currently going through those problems right now, and you already have the solution because you've already been there and you've done that. Every person has experiences. And so you can then begin to start productizing your mind. You can begin to start productizing your experiences. But the only way to do that is to learn monetizable skills so that then you can go turn those experiences into dollars. You can turn your mind into dollars. And that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you inside of the Enhanced Wealth community, is exactly that. But that is not really the point of this video. The point of this video is, again, to share with you my self-development story. And so with that being said, as I mentioned before, I was reading books. I was buying courses. I was listening to audiobooks every single day at work. And I began to just soak in so much information. But knowledge by itself is not power. Knowledge followed by execution is how you gain power. Because now you're starting to build momentum. You're starting to actually apply your new skill sets. If I learn how to play the piano and then never do anything with it, there's no point in that at all. If I learn how to play the piano and I start playing at shows and I start really getting my name out there, then I can turn that skill and I can monetize that skill to make money. So many of you have skills and you're not monetizing them. So many of you don't have any skills because the only foundation you have is the government, state-run schooling system. And you go to university or you go to college to learn one monetizable skill, and it takes you 4 years to learn it, and you have to get yourself into debt in order to learn it. It's a flawed system. And so this is why I dropped out of college and just decided to go out and self-educate myself and teach myself all these things. And now fast forwarding through applying all these skills and going through all this, I learned how to invest. I learned how to invest in multiple different types of real estate. And then I realized that there was a specific type of real estate that I really enjoyed investing in. And that was commercial, multifamily, syndication real estate. And along the way, I also learned how to manage money, manage people's portfolios, help other people invest, right? And I've learned so much through that journey, and I'm still in that journey. And so now, through my personal development journey myself, I'm still on it, and you are doing this forever. You will never be perfect. You will always be growing for the rest of your life, and you will always be immersed in personal development. It is the core and the foundation of everything that you begin to stack on top of. So I hope the biggest thing that you guys took away from this video is that everything starts with you, and everything starts with your skills and what you're putting your time into. And so if you are sick of the rat race, if you are looking to make money online, if you are looking to become financially free and have time freedom and to have location freedom and to finally break out of what some people call the matrix and to really start to take control over your own life and your own time and to make money passively, or if also you just realize that you'll never be able to start investing the way that you want to because of the limited amount of active income that you make, then definitely subscribe to this YouTube channel because you will be learning so much here for free. Subscribe or follow my other social media accounts. But most importantly, I want to leave you with this. Consuming information on YouTube videos, shorts, and all those types of things is the lowest form of education possible. You want to be able to be somewhere where you can start gaining a higher level of specialized knowledge. That is exactly why I created the Enhanced Wealth community. It's a community of like-minded individuals, of everybody trying to achieve the same goals. Everyone is trying to break out of the rat race. Everyone is trying to take their money from their active income and place it into assets so that they can start getting passive income as possible. And so if that sounds like you, then use the link down below of this video to go ahead and get access to our private Enhanced Wealth community. Join the community. I also run coaching calls once a week. You get access to me directly. You can message me inside of the community. I have weekly Q&As inside the community, and I have tons of courses inside of the community, teaching you exactly how to gain that specialized knowledge, exactly how to become a one-person business, how to productize your experience, how to productize your mind. And it's way better and more fun to grow with other people. So if you have friends, if you have family, if you know people that want to have that same type of lifestyle, then make sure to share this video with them.